yes, card-carrying public intellectual academic writer with street cred, Professor Clive Hume. Clive and Palgrave have enjoyed a long publishing relationship across a large number of lists, including literature, theatre, and history, as befits an author who's been described as a polymath by the Times, no less. Most recently, his authorship of the new edition of Violent London, which you see over there, drew Clive into the eye of the media maelstrom following the 2011 student and August riots. And his deep knowledge of this city's riotous history has now given us Riot City, which is, I think you'll find, an insightful and nuanced study of the days of the capital's unrest from the perspective of the protesters and the police and the government, but firmly underpinned by a study of London's great history, or perhaps not great history, of protests and violence. And I think that's what gives the book its unique appeal and gravitas. So it's been an absolute pleasure to work with such a committed and passionate author. So thank you very much, Clive. And ladies and gentlemen, Clive Hume.
Just in case I forget the title. Thank you very much, Jen, and thank you, Claire, who's hiding away somewhere in the background, and thank you, Charlotte, and thank you, everybody, actually, including the Notre Dame here for hosting the event, so thank you all very much for doing that. I'm not going to say too much, because you probably want to get on the train now and go home, so I'm just going to say I appear to have lots of books still left, and they must be the point is the table's meant to be clear, so you can go home without heavy bags. So just bear that in mind. It is available on Kindle, but I think buying the book is so much more special. So please do. Having said all that, the book itself comes out of Jen being a real slave driver. Where are you? Where is she? She's over there. We were in discussion about writing something else, and this came up, and Jen said, and other people at the time said, oh, we've got to have this immediately. So this book was actually, believe it or not, written in 2 months. And I've never written a book in 2 months in my life, and it virtually killed me. So I handed it in to Jen, she said, thank you very much. And I stopped doing the book I was doing, which I'm now just about to finish. And so she said to me, well, where's the other one then? So I am actually just finishing the other one. I really am just finishing the other one. I really, truly am just finishing the other one. So maybe in a year's time we'll be celebrating the next thing I'm doing. But anyway, this book at the moment, Riot City, was something that I wanted to do regarding bringing things up to date to do with the unrest and the new political order that's come about in the city and in the global world, really. And this book was really the product of that. And I wanted to be even-handed, because one of the things that came out of the riots was a great deal of polemics, a great deal of thought about, oh, who's on what side. The book came out, I've been criticised by activists for not being on their side enough. I really treated the police quite gently, which you know, most people don't expect nowadays. I have also treated the Conservative Party quite gently compared with what I might have done. But Danny Kruger, who you may have seen in the blue shirt, was one of the blue suit rather, was one of the advisors to David Cameron. He's now gone. He did the Hug a Hoodie speech, so we had the personality here, though maybe people didn't realise. So I tried to be even-handed. I tried to take a historian's perspective, although it's contemporary. Take a historian's perspective rather than take the polemicist's position. I don't uphold particularly any particular party. I suppose I'm a sort of libertarian anarchist, if you're going to call me anything. But Richard there knows I've said I've been a Stalinist in the past, so I'm morph into different things as occasion requires. If you do buy the book, you will find pictures, so you don't actually have to physically read the thing. You can look at the photos, and I promise you there's one good photo in there, apart from the fact that Jonathan, my son, if you don't know him, took a lot of the photos. So there's Jonathan, wave your arms around, he's the photographer. He did very well, and we bought some photographs and other things. I took some, and Leslie, my wife, took some, and all the rest of it. But there is actually a picture of a bomb, the only bomb in existence which was built for the anarchists of the 19th century. So we actually went up to Warsaw near Birmingham and actually found this in a library. So if you've never seen an anarchist bomb, you know, like the big round things with the fuse sticking out, we actually have a photo of it. Not with my finger pointing at it, but you know, which was curiously enough built by the police to prove that the anarchists could blow it up if they wanted to. And all the anarchists went to prison because because they were making bombs. They weren't making bombs, but the police tried to prove they were making bombs, and the bomb didn't work. So there you go. So that's a stitch up if ever there was one. The book also comes out of a lot of personal interests that I've had, going to marches, actually physically being there. And what you do find when you go to these things, you physically are there, how different the reports by the police, by the people in authority and by others come out. They're not the same as you expect. So I really wanted to put into this book something of what I perceived as the truth of the situation. I mean, truth, I suppose, in bunny rabbit ears, but nevertheless, the truth of the situation, rather than the journalism that preceded it. So I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm just going to say there's a big pile of books over there. If you don't buy them, we're shutting the door and you're staying here until the wine's run out and you're all desperate.